Maybe it's just me, but I wish there was more options when buying a new bike of what components and parts I wanted. Luckily, there's one company that's ahead of the game in doing just that. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Josh here with Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and today I am reviewing this Dessel Gnarzan. Dessel is a brand you may not have heard about, but they've been in the bike industry for a while and they've made a ton of awesome cyclocross bikes. But along with that, they make a bunch of awesome mountain bikes, and especially this Gnarzan, which is a super sweet hardtail. A couple months ago, Dessel reached out to me. They'd seen my channel and that I love hardtails and the type of riding that I do. And they asked if they could send a bike for me to ride and review for a video for you guys. And I said I would absolutely love to. So they sent me a link to their site and said, go check out the Gnarzan and build it up however you want. And that was when I found that Dessel does something I wish more bike companies would do. And that is you can pick every detail of your bike. You can pick a SRAM drivetrain and Shimano brakes, or you could pick Magera brakes with a Shimano drivetrain. The options are endless, and you can even choose what wheel size you want, 29 or 27.5. So I built up my ideal bike. They sent me both tire sizes and told me to give it a fair, solid review. So I put on the 29-inch wheels, rode them for about 5 or 6 times, put on the 27.5 plus wheels, rode those another handful of times, and I feel like I rode the bike enough to give it a fair, honest review. Now before I talk about how the bike rode, let me tell you about the bike that I built up. You can build up the Gnarzan from anywhere from $2,200 all the way up to $3,300 and plus depending on all the upgrades you want. My build came in at about the $2,900 mark. What I got was I chose Shimano XT brakes, I chose a SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain, a Diamond DVO fork, which is pretty sweet at 130 millimeters, and then a bunch of FSA parts from their cranks, their bars, and their stem, and a Fox transfer dropper post. So I built this bike, I got it, I put on the 29-inch wheels, and I went out for a ride, and there was a couple of things that instantly really stood out to me about this bike. The first thing I really liked, and I know this isn't a riding characteristic, but I loved it, was that I got to pick what drivetrain and brakes I wanted. So often I'll get a bike and I'll feel like, oh, it doesn't have the Shimano brakes I want, or it doesn't have the most ideal drivetrain. In this bike, I got to pick it, so I was happy right off the bat. Second thing I really liked is I feel like this bike is a true ride every day, do it all hardtail. Living in Bellingham, there's a lot of climbing, and then there's tons of options for your descents, from steep technical descents to flowy jump trails and even cross-country tracks. And this bike handled all of it super well. Since it's a hardtail, it climbed really well, it had a great seated position, and the head tube angle wasn't too slack or too steep, so it could handle any terrain I threw at it. And the third thing I really liked about the bike is that it has the option of running 2 different tire sizes. So often, bike companies just put a bike out with one tire size, but it's nice to be able to pick and choose depending on the terrain that you live in and where you ride. Now, along with the pros, there was a couple of things I did not like about the Gnarzan. First off, this bike only comes with the option of a 125 millimeter dropper post. So when I got the bike and set it up to my seat height and went out on the trail, I slammed it down for my descent, and instantly the saddle hit me in the butt, kind of put me over the fork, and I felt very uncomfortable. Not a huge thing, but I had to slam the dropper seat post at the top, which is kind of why they invented dropper seat posts. I told the guys at Dessel, they said, hey man, over in New Jersey, we don't have that issue as much. We don't have as steep trails and trails that you ride. And so I threw on my 170 millimeter dropper post, made it totally fine again, and I encouraged them to put a 170 dropper post as an option on their builds. Second thing I didn't like, and this is getting nitpicky, but I didn't find a ton I didn't like about the bike, is their cable routing. I love that Dessel has external cable routing, and at first glance, I really liked that they kind of had 3 channels down the main down tube. But the problem with this is while it looks really good and functional, it's difficult to get that cable up into the dropper seat post internal routing, and at the top near the head tube, it kind of makes it almost unusable how close it is. Once again, a little thing, but in setting up a bike, it's kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. So those are some of the things I didn't like about the bike, but what's my overall review? Well, I have to say, the Dessel Gnarzan stands out to me as one of the awesome hardtails that is a true do-it-all bike. I feel like for most people, we think we need full suspension bikes with a lot of travel, but 130mm hardtail is really great for 90% of the riding I do, and I'm guessing 90-95% of the riding all of us do. It's a great bike for going out on a quick cross-country lap, can handle jumps and steep trails, and the thing I love most about this company is they give you the options to pick the parts you want so you can build your dream bike at a price that's very affordable. So overall, I give this bike 2 thumbs up, but at the end of the day, that's just my review for my riding style in my area, but I encourage you to find a Van Dessel, get on a Gnarzan, try it yourself, and see what you think. All right, that's it on my review. If you like this video, click the like button. If you have any questions about the Gnarzan, just throw them down below. I'd love to answer them for you. Make sure you click my link so you can follow me on Instagram, check me out on Patreon, and even follow me on Strava for all those very low, and by low, I mean high Strava times. All right, that's it. Whatever you do, don't spend too much time watching a guy review a pretty sweet hardtail in his garage, but get out there and ride your bike. Make sure you do it every day.